I want you to watch this video. I'm returning back to talk a bit about it.
This is what happens on a normal day at the Lagos International Trade Fair. Thousands of people troop into this complex daily to do their business, and they are part of the informal sector. And we do know, according to statistics, that the informal sector contributes as much as 50 to 65% to our GDP.
This massive industrial complex, established in 1977, sprawls across approximately 350 hectares of land and serves over 60 different business divisions. But today, the hum of industry has been replaced by the sound of losses. Barely a week ago, hundreds of investors and business owners were jolted awake by a harrowing reality. Bulldozers from the Lagos state government moved in, tearing down structures and citing infractions like the non-approval of building plans.
We expect the authority to come to our office with their layout plan and the approval of the individual buildings. If we don't have this, I'm sorry to say, we will bring down all the buildings in this place. We will bring them down.
For many of the affected entrepreneurs, it still feels like a nightmare. Their investment, their livelihoods, heavily dented in a matter of hours.
I was like, why are you demolishing my building? One of the person that came with them told me that we fell to Strunkard here. I was very surprised. How? If you're hopeless, once you come here, you must find something to do. You understand? Even those that have criminal mind, when they come here, we restructure them. You understand? Imagine government trying to say that they will demolish this place. If you demolish this place, you understand, and these millions of people fall back to the street, can you control them? You understand? We're supposed to be partner with the government. You understand? Because what government wasn't able to do, we are doing it, for God's sake. We are doing it.
To draw attention to their plight, stakeholders organized a rally. They voiced their resentment, arguing that despite their substantial contribution to nation building and the state's economy, they were treated with a lack of respect and due process.
Accordingly, we demand the following. 1. An immediate halt to any further demolition at the complex. 2. An independent investigation into the circumstances surrounding the demolition, including the roles of officials involved.
They should go to Section 50 and Section 49. It's stated clear. This matter must go to, I even appealing to the House, the Senator, National Assembly, to intervene.
They presented their official claims and grievances to the complex management, demanding answers.
The supervising ministry is well aware of what is going on, and we assure you that they are going to look into it. Once more, accept my sympathy and bear in mind that Mr. President is very, very concerned about the economic development of Nigeria. And this is the #1 commerce hub in Nigeria.
With such devastating accrued losses, the future of doing business in Lagos now hangs in uncertainty for so many of these investors. The question now is, how will the state reconcile this destruction of domestic investment with its quest for new investors? Chris Alems, Channels Television News.
Lawmakers led by Senator Enyinaya Abaribe visiting the Lagos Trade Fair complex alongside former presidential candidate Peter Obi on Tuesday. Their mission is to assess the recent demolition of structures that has left traders agitated. According to Peter Obi, the timing of the demolition is very painful and the destruction of the structures could have been avoided with proper engagement.
This is not a time, considering how difficult things are in this country, that such a thing should happen. At a time, most of the people who build this have borrowed money from bank at high interest rates. The business is no longer the way it is. It is at a critical time. You cannot do this now in this country.
Some of the lawmakers also condemned the demolition, describing it as unnecessary and very shocking, especially considering current economic hardship in the country. Some of them are also of the opinion that crisis could have been better managed.
If they got everything here since 1977, this is 48 years, and nobody from the state government has ever come here only to just wake up one day and come and demolish property. What it tells us is that it is a thoroughly despicable act by the Lagos state government and targeted at a particular group of people. And we will surely take it up.
We are representing these people, and we are not going to shy away from whatever pains they are going through. And the most important aspect of it, those who do this forget the contribution of this segment of traders to the economy of this country.
Pure wickedness. Like I said, I spoke with the president about 3 days ago. I don't want to repeat what my leaders have said. The most important thing is we need to get to the root of the matter. And I told him he should write a petition, should forward the petition to the National Assembly.
The National Assembly members have promised to take up the matter with both federal and the Lagos state government with a view to finding a lasting solution. The demolition carried out last week has pitched traders at the complex against the Lagos state government, with the traders accusing the state authorities of deliberately targeting them, even when the structures did not violate any physical planning law.
Emergency.
Those that don't have approval, like
I am in charge of approval. They don't have. I think that authoritative. That is wrong. That means you don't know the law. That means you don't know the law.
Honorable Commissioner, I'm not
That means you don't know the law.
I'm not here to
There are
make
federal
voice.
lands, there are federal lands, there are state lands, there are old Western region lands. What the so, madam, we don't need to wait. Madam, wait.
So I'm Erelu, so I understand you. Let me tell you, it's better than a lawyer. And I'm not a lawyer that did not go to court. I have practiced law. And as I still have law. So, and I know what is obtainable. And I know the judgments they refer to. And if you reflect on those, you will know what the judgments say. There's jurisdiction everywhere. Now, for those that have even approached me from Lagos State, I have told them that I'm not adverse to working with Lagos State where it is absolutely necessary. I told them that I have received all of them, including local government. I have received even the state, those that came, Lagos State Revenue and so on. We're in discussions with them. But all I'm saying, there is a sitting authority overseeing this complex. If there's any concern for Lagos State, shouldn't it have been ideal
for me, the only authority that I know is the authority, and I am in charge of all the school government in Lagos.
Alright.
Put me
Okay.
anywhere.
No. Honorable Commissioner, I will give you documents to prove that because it's a federal government complex, that all building approvals are approved by the Federal Minister of Housing and Authority.
Totally wrong. Totally wrong.
Are you telling me that I don't know my job?
These are members of the Lagos State House of Assembly.
And then God has still think that we can go and talk because this is a public.
Hold on, madam. Lawmaker saw it and we don't like it.
You are Lagos State lawmaker.
Hold on, madam. This is Lagos State. The property is sitting down in Lagos State.
Yes.
Hold on, madam. Hold on, madam. No. Hold on, madam. There is no way we will do anything under federal government. When it comes to any state, you must seek an approval of that state. Are you telling me that that Lagos State will not do a layout of all the properties?
Yes.
That's
Not of Lagos State property, but of any property within the federal government.
No, madam, you don't.
And I will back it up for you by law.
If we are meant
I will
to see
back it
ourselves,
with law.
let's do our show. You are taking it far. I don't say. Baba yẹn da kó lọ má kọ́. Ṣé àwọn friend ṣe dúró ní mi? Ṣé dúró ní mi? We don't need all this. You are trying to prove something that you are the whole compound. Our friend are short. They are on it, abi? Are you telling me that all your survey that appears that makes you work here? Are you telling me that? Are you following the survey? Are you following
all those people up on that? Everybody should come down. Everybody should come down. Everybody there should come down. Everybody. They should stop work. Buy a color market. Stop work. Everything. Stop.
If you are looking from the left and right, you must follow it.
Let's assume now, for the assumption, that you notice things that are wrong. Is it for Lagos to come in straight and start demolition without recourse to the management, the federal government?
How long
is that management that's supposed to have done the right thing? Why should I be going to any management?
We don't need it.
Why should
I don't need it.
And I said that. And I said that.
Should I be going to any management? Doing wrong thing?
And I said that. And I said that.
So we should Lagos State should seek an approval before coming to.
Oh yes.
No, they don't need
the
it.
federal government property. Yes. That is the law. You see, you should know as lawmaker. Say more, fake there is jurisdiction. There is jurisdiction.
The minister for housing. They don't have the quality of council. What the law?
Sọ fún mi ẹ já lọ sọ́fíìsì ká sọ̀rọ̀. Anything tẹ́ bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí tá a bá lè fún yín lẹ́yìn ká.
Ẹ má bínú ẹ̀dá, ó bá bẹ̀bẹ̀. Ń ṣe iṣẹ́ ẹrú tì mí.
Saturday. This Saturday.
No, I'm tired. I'm looking for the water. Me ready?
And people that is on the because That was why he was saying that
Woman contact sọ pé òun mọ̀ pé kíní máa ṣẹlẹ̀.
Abimbola, Abimbola, Abimbola. No, but I wasn't that woman. I was there. I was listening to I was
We are here on the directive of our governor to come and ensure compliance with our laid-down laws at the Trivia Complex. So with me here is Dr. Olajide, the SSA to the governor on EGIS and urban development, and Engineer Akodu, who is the SA to the governor on environment and water resources. So we are here to enforce all the laws that has to do with physical planning and urban development, as well as environmental issues. So let's listen first to the essay on the environment.
Okay. My name is Engineer Rotimi Akodu, Special Advisor to Mr. Governor on Environment. Yes, we're here on the directive of Mr. Governor just to ensure that things are done the way it should be done, that laws are complied with, the regulations of the state are not, messed up with, and that's why we're here. From the information reaching us, we see that a lot of things have gone wrong. We were here some times back, and we're back here to see that fiscal planning laws and regulations are complied with, environmental regulations are complied with, and the environmental law 2017, that we see that we bring it to full force. We've been around and we've seen some infraction. We're here a few weeks ago, and we warned them, we gave them things to do and not to do, and things to comply with. I haven't gone around today again. I see that a lot of things are yet to be fixed. I've seen the waste, I've seen the drainages, I've seen the wastewater, and we are talking that we have no choice but for them to comply. This is Lagos State. It's foremost, we cannot allow slum or urban slum, to take preeminence in the city. So it's one state government, it's one space for everybody, and we have to ensure that we comply. Brazenness is not, there's no room for brazenness. You just have to be law-abiding and one state government as a whole. So thank you, that's why we're here. We'll continue the discussion.
In addition to what the Special Advisor to the Governor on Environment and Water Resources has said, we want to make it clear that we have regulations, that have to be adhered to strictly. So the physical planning permit authority will do its work, ensuring that all buildings within the trade fair compound, because it's no longer a complex, because a trade fair complex, is a place where we have seasonal or periodic expo, So, but this has become a market. And if it has become a market, then the state and the local government will have to be fully involved, in what is happening here. Every single building that is being built must be staged. It must have a letter of authorization. Our officers must, from the foundation to the roof, stage the construction. And after the construction, we'll issue what you call a certificate completion and fitness for habitation. Every 5 years, we'll also do a certification to ensure that the building is still fit, for habitation. And then, Mr. President has just asked that the insurance law be gazetted. I mean, you see fire in different places around Nigeria. I mean, Lagos is not left out, and that is the reason why every single building, within this compound must have an approval. We have spoken with the executive director. I would leave the Honorable Commissioner to talk about that. But, as the special advisor on EGIs and urban development, we'll be carrying out a full mapping of the entire area, and we will expect, as the commissioner will say, that due processes. He will tell us what the processes are. But as it stands today, under the laws, we have stopped every construction that is going on in this market. We have had a meeting while the commissioner was having a meeting with the executive director. We were also having a meeting with the stakeholders in the market, and we have told them to stop every construction going further. No further construction will go on in the trade fair compound. Do you understand? And also the trade fair complex, because there's a trade fair complex and then there's also the compound. You understand? No development will go on again. Any development that goes on after today without regularization of their title documentations, without regularization of their building approvals, without letters of authorization and state certification will be brought down. We have agreed now with the stakeholders, and they've all agreed that they will do nothing further until when they come to a meeting in our offices next week. I think I would like to stop here, but before I stop, I want to make it clear that it's one country, we're under one constitution. You understand? The laws of Lagos State, our extant regulations have to be obeyed. Nobody has the power, you understand, to be an actor in Lagos State. Even if you come from the federal government, you need to work with us. Don't work against us. If you work against us, we will definitely make sure that the full wrath of the law, you understand, is brought against whoever is violating our regulations. And we expect that even the trade fair complex, we have gone round. The complex, the offices, we have seen that even the building is not even fit for habitation. My officers are right now writing a report, which we're also going to share with the executive director. The premises itself is leaking. The roof is no longer there. Behind, there are a lot of buildings that are now become abandoned. There is an abandonment law under the Lagos State Building Control Agency. And I'm sure that Mr. Governor will talk to the appropriate authorities at the federal government so that we are working together. Mr. Governor has directed that we should stop any further action, and has asked that all the stakeholders and the management of the trade fair, should come to our offices and discuss with us going further. Thank you.
What has actually happened today, it's a response from the Lagos State government. That if you recall, some couple of weeks back, some estates were declared illegal. And what was the reason? Purely because they have not gotten layout approval. Now, this complex is about 332 hectares, so which is more than due for a layout permit. We have met with the DG, that's the executive director here, and we have not seen the layout. The conclusion of our meeting is that the layout should be forwarded to us so that we can review, and all the buildings that are on it must show evidence of individual planning permit. There's still some contention on that, so she's going to get back to our own authority and clarify that. But the take home for today is that all development under construction must stop immediately, and within 1 week from now, we expect the authority to come to our office with their layout plan and the approval of the individual buildings. If we don't have this, I'm sorry to say, we will bring down all the buildings in this place. We will bring them down, because even if they claim that it's federal land, so long as it's been given to a third party by way of lease or any other agreement, that development must procure Lagos State planning permit. It's a law. We are not disputing the land. The land is owned by the federal government, fine. But what we are saying is that for any development, as confined by the Supreme Court judgment of 2003, any development within any state is under the authority of the planning authority within that state. And we here in Lagos State, we are here to enforce that. And you can see, you have a complex, a 5-story building right on the road curb with the door opening onto the road. What would you expect? That is a chaotic kind of design. And as a responsive government, we shouldn't tolerate that. We've just shown to the DG that even if you go into a committee of international countries, do you want to show the existing layout as a meaningful? It would be a total shame on this country and on Lagos State. And this is what we set out to correct. We cannot allow people just building recklessly. You are talking of a warehouse on the 5 floors. What kind of design load do they anticipate? Do they use in those designs? A building that is supposed to carry load should not be designed as a residential building. So these are things that we need to correct. Even their own complex, you can see the state of the place. The roads are bad, the drainages are blocked, refuse are dumped on the way, the soil waste disposed of indiscriminately. I mean, everything just out of order. As a responsive government, we cannot allow that. And it's also in their own interest, because if we have a decent place, the value, that's what they also fail to realize. By allowing us to carry out this, our normal duty and exercise, is going to enhance the value of this complex. As it is now, it's almost, it's a thing of a shame that as a Nigerian, we are not proud of. And we cannot allow that. We have had a meeting with the DG. She's here with me. And she has promised that she will get back to us on all that. She has agreed that all the developments under construction should stop immediately, and what we are requesting for, they will start providing all those. The layout plan must be seen and approved. There are rules in terms of making layout. Where are the roads? Where are the walkways? Where are the drains? The building that we are putting up, how do we dispose of those waste so that it doesn't impact negatively on the health of the occupant of this place? A trade fair complex, as we all know, it's an international space by the nation. It's a thing that the nation will be proud of to showcase. And it holds international events occasionally or periodically. But what we have seen here today is a full-fledged market, full-fledged daily, second, minute market. And the authority in terms of regulation of market is under the purview of the state and the local government. And failure to do that is what we have seen today, a chaotic situation. You cannot even walk on the road. I think it's something that we should be all agree to put an end and correct. Thank you very much.
This complex, incidentally, is a complex that is run by the federal government agency, supervised by the Federal Ministry of Trade, Industry and Investment. So it is, despite the fact that it is within Lagos State, but is a federal government hub. This is a place that we carry out, our mandate allows the complex to carry out commercial activities. And this complex welcomes visitors from other West African countries on a weekly basis for trading events. We organize trade fairs. To the glory of God, we assume and resume the yearly organization of Nigerian International Trade Fair, and we'll be hosting one next month. So it's unfortunate that this is happening at this time. So we've met, we had a meeting with the Lagos State team. We have divergent views, and we have given ourselves sometimes from 1 week to hear again, because every government has its own limitation, every government has its own limits. We have the federal has its own, the state has its own, the local government has its own. And as far as I'm concerned, the state cannot override the federal, and as far as they are concerned, the state can overreach the federal. So we will meet after now to sit down and harmonize all these different divergent views and come up with a holistic point of view. We on our own, the management of Lagos International Trade Fair Assistance, headed by me, have been doing everything to make sure that the building specified to comply with the specification. But what we do is that we use the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing to get all the necessary permits. We have engineers, we have engineers and town planners, and so that comes from the Federal Ministry of Works. They come from time to time to inspect the building. Before you even build, you need to get permits, building permits. So that's what we do. We make sure they all comply. And it must interest you to know that before now, as I speak to you, I'm expecting members of the Federal Police Task Force to come in. We have very few buildings which have not complied with those instructions and other regulations and other, who presently we communicated to the ministry, and the state police commissioner is aware of that, and because we invited them to come and help us take down those buildings. So what we are saying is that Lagos State, if paravention they need to come, they ought to come through us, and then we carry it out together. It's for one country. This is Nigeria. We are working for the good of the nation and working for the good of, I mean, it is something of joy that Lagos is the center of excellence, is the center of commerce, and trade fair is the hub of trade in Nigeria. So there's a need for us to do things the way they ought to be done. There's a need for us to sensitize the place and to do things according to law, rules and regulations. So we hope to meet again. I will discuss with the heads, and if there's going to be any rule, like under the Land Use Act, the federal government has its own limits. And like my brother, the Honorable Commissioner, quoted, there's a Supreme Court judgment of 2014 that explicitly said the land under the federal government complex remains within the federal complex. We monitor them, we supervise them. Where it's not okay, we bring down the building. We tell them, but then before doing that, we give them notice. We let them know their infractions. We are not going to stand in the way of progress. What we want is progress. This is the Renew Hope agenda. This is the Renew Hope era. And this place is being renewed. For instance, renewing the trade fair. And I use this opportunity to even invite all the media to come for the trade fair. It is an international trade fair. So we expect people to come. So we expect things to be done with decorum, things to be done with the way they ought to do. And I believe that we will come to an agreement with the state so that we stop having this kind of issues. In the issue of environment, if there's anything wrong with the environment, maybe we should check Lawman. Because I know when I came and there's a problem, we went into agreement with Lawman, and Lawman comes here. When they said they will be coming maybe once in a week, I said, no, this is a trading hub. We need you to come almost every day to clear the debris because of the number of people here. But we continue to do that. We continue to do what we make Lagos State proud and Nigeria prouder. Thank you very much. My name once more is Erelu Vera Sefia Ndanusa, the Executive Director, Chief Executive Officer of Lagos International Trade Fair Complex and management under the federal government, and an agency. Where the problem lies is that people don't see this place as an agency of the federal government, or maybe because of the name. But however, wherever we are, we will work. We will make sure that things work together. We are going to meet and iron out issues.
Report within 12 hours.
Let me see.
And so let's move on with our conversation. This time around, we're expanding the horizon, looking at politics at the national level, and with many implications, particularly for 2027. And joining us for this conversation is Senator Victor Ume. He joins us right here in our Lagos studio.
Thank you
for joining us on the program.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So let's start from, the federal capital before we begin to look at politics at the state or at the national. All eyes are on the National Assembly, especially with events in the last couple of months. The activism towards, securing the gender bill in a good place before it gets to the state. There's also constitutional, review conversation. So what are we to expect from the Senate as the National Assembly resumes tomorrow, and which of the bills will the Senate be giving priority?
Well, the Senate and the National Assembly at large will be doing the jobs assigned to it by the Constitution. If there are any bills before the National Assembly, you can be sure that those bills will be most patriotically debated in the national interest. So most times people want to give directives to the National Assembly. We are the representatives of the people, and we know what the country needs because we are in touch with the people. Any bill that is before us that is desirable with a view to promoting national integration or development, the National Assembly will patriotically deal with it. So I would say the people will expect everything, because once we are properly constituted and we go to work, we cannot avoid discussing anything of national interest. So what is important is that if there are things before us and anybody has interest in them, they have to prepare. Lawmaking is a collective process. The Senate or the National Assembly will not pass any bill without subjecting it to public hearing. So if you have any strong points for or against a bill, you make use of the public hearing. That's why you come and make your points. And National Assembly, of course, will look at the points made at the national public hearing and graft them into the decisions they will make to be able to say we agree with this or we don't agree with this.
All right. There's one that is a major talking point, and for good reason, because of the standoff between the Senate leadership and the senator representing Kogi Central. If we have time, we're going to explore that part of the conversation later on. But let's quickly get to this one, which was also of huge concern over the past 2 weeks in Lagos. The demolition of trade fair structures, of structures at the trade fair, for which interpretations have been given that, business interests of Igbo extraction are being targeted. And we had this conversation with the Commissioner for Physical Planning in Lagos towards the end of last week. And explanations were provided to the effect that there is nothing of the sort, that your principal, and former governor of your state, Mr. Peter Obi, was only trying to whip up sentiments, that if you went to trade fair, some of those structures were actually in serious breach of physical planning rules. How satisfactory is the explanation of the Lagos state government to its activities at the trade fair, to you and indeed to the Labour Party?
Well, it's not a party issue. It's about dealing with human beings with a consideration of the law. The country is governed by the Constitution and a set of laws. I'm disappointed to hear that the Commissioner for Physical Planning in Lagos State came to you to justify her illegal action. The Constitution is very clear on what constitutes a breach of the law. And for you to hold somebody in breach of the law, you must be acting in accordance with the law. One, the trade fair complex in Lagos is the subject matter, where the Lagos state government moved in with heavy machines you've shown on this screen now to go and destroy people's investments and buildings without any justification. Trade fair complex is a federal establishment, and the Commissioner for Physical Planning knows that federal lands are under the control of the agencies of federal government, not state government. There are federal lands, there are state lands. If you go to Lagos now, or any part of Lagos, any property that belongs to the federal government, you go to the federal land registry in Ikoyi to ascertain the title of that property. You don't go to Alausa, land registry in Alausa. In other words, there are clear demarcations of jurisdiction between federal lands and state lands. And I speak to you from the position of authority. I'm an estate surveyor and valuer. I'm very vast in land matters. I'm a fellow of Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers. What the Commissioner for Fiscal Planning in Lagos State did was an affront and a breach of the law. The people who manage the trade fair complex are people in the trade fair management board. It has the board has a CEO and the executive director. And for the fiscal commissioner to say that they went there to enforce law, she's been economical with the truth. They've never gone to that place.
The commissioner is a he, by the way, but
is it a he or she?
He, yeah.
Okay, I thought they said
but he's
it's a she.
also saying that that the jurisdiction is still a subject matter of contention and conversations are still being had. But he also went ahead to say that even if you said that the original structures that were there from the 70s are under the federal government, that the entrepreneurs, they are beginning to build on lands that have not been occupied, and that land is under their own jurisdiction as the Lagos State government. How do you respond to that?
Please, the trade fair complex is not in the moon. It's in Lagos. If you go there, it is a space that is clearly defined. And Lagos State government has never gone there to do anything, either to collect property rate or ground rent or anything, or grant approval for any development taking place in the trade fair complex. It is the trade fair management board that has been doing all this until they moved in about 2 weeks ago to bring down the buildings on the 25th of September. They have never gone there before in all the years gone by. So it's not a place they've been exercising authority over, oversight function or anything over the years. Their entrance into that place to destroy the buildings was an intrusion. And if you speak to the executive director or CEO of the Trade Fair Management Board, you get the facts. They were also shocked. The board was also shocked that Lagos State government can move into that place without telling them. Even the traders themselves were not given any notice. They were not written. They were not questioned over anything. What I read in the papers were that the buildings were on canals and drainages. People were building, without approval. That is not true. All those buildings that you saw erected there were approved by the Trade Fair Management Board.
You went there with Mr.
Yes,
Peter Obi alongside other senators.
Other senators, yes.
And you didn't see structures that were,
clearly
without compliance with building rules. You've said that you're an expert surveyor.
Yes.
The commissioner said that those structures were built on canals. They were in serious breach of,
I don't know who he is.
And as such, they should take responsibility for it because there are disasters waiting to happen. Surely you cannot ignore that part.
No. You are believing him. You have not gone there. I have gone there. The reason why we went to look at the demolitions, one was to ascertain the veracity of their claim that the buildings were on drainage channels or places they were not supposed to build anything. And when we got there, we went around the whole place. No building was standing on a canal or on a drainage channel. It is the same thing with what they did when they went into Abuledo in Lagos and started demolition buildings. When the place is in the hands of the Federal Housing Authority, not Lagos State government, So when they want to act, they act knowing deliberately that they're doing the wrong thing and come back and tell a lie that the buildings were standing on drainage channels and roads. And when that of Abuledo happened, I had to I'm the Vice Chairman Senate Committee on Housing and Urban Development. I had to prevail on the Federal Housing Authority to oblige an investigation on what happened. And when the demolitions were going on, I had to speak to the then MD of the Housing Authority, Senator Benga Shafa, and he immediately halted the demolitions and allowed space for findings to be made. And the process of getting that done, another MD came in, the honorable that is there now. And patriotically, he agreed with me that you cannot demolish, look at what I say, demolish people's buildings. Let us go there. So on the 25th of January this year, I had to go to that Abuledo with the MD Federal Housing Authority, Honorable Oladimeji Tunde Ojo. We got there. We went through 2.5 hours in that estate. Will you know what happened? Not one building was standing on the canal or on the road as they claimed. And he was surprised and he said, you people told me that these buildings were standing on canals and that. So where are they now? He moved in, he has resolved the issues and regularized that place. So this one, they went into the trade fair complex where they have no business to go into, and he's saying that the buildings are standing on canals. If you go tomorrow, the buildings are there. They're not movable. If you go, you see for yourselves that the buildings are standing clearly out of the channel. There was wide setbacks.
All right.
You know, so it is a deliberate act to intimidate the people, which I don't want to accept. You have alluded to it in your opening statement that Igbos are being targeted. I don't want to see it that way. I want to see it as the authority not doing the right thing.
All right.
And I came here with my constitution.
Yeah, I know that you're picking up the constitution.
No, I came here with constitution. I want to read the line for you.
Okay.
I want to read the line for you.
Because Lagos also has some questions for you.
Yes, I want to read a line for you. It says here, chapter 2 of this constitution defines how we live together in Nigeria. Chapter 2 and chapter 3. But if you come to chapter 2, 15, 3b, it says, it is the duty of the state to secure full resident rights for every citizen in all parts of the federation. In other words, everybody is entitled to live anywhere he likes in Nigeria, guaranteed by this constitution.
All right.
So this idea of Igbos are in Lagos, they should go home and all that, go to a place, is not is baseless.
All right.
So you treat people with regard to the law. If you go there again, you see where it says that government actions shall be humane.
All right.
Government actions. So you see a building that is standing, people are doing business, you move in, caterpillar and all that, you pull down the building and go away. What have they done since they left?
All right.
Since they left, they have nothing to enforce.
Senator, suffice it to say at this point that we haven't believed any narrative.
Yes.
We're just capturing all sides to the story, capturing effectively as possible the position of the Lagos state government. But I'm sure Lagos has some questions for you. Over to you, Kayode.
Senator Omer,
I'm not hearing you. Yes.
Right, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Right. So I was saying that this Lagos is Lagos studio, not Lagos state government. But, you know, we had the commissioner seated right here in the studio. First, he said that this is not targeting the Igbos, that anybody is welcome, that the constitution is clear about that. So he said as much right here in our studio, because that was one of the questions we put to him. But he also said that plans must be approved by the Lagos state government if you want to place anything on land in Lagos state. What do you have to say to that about getting approval for a plan for a building? Who should give that approval?
Yes, every agency of government that is vested with right to administer interest in land will have approving authorities. It is not confined to Lagos state because it is Lagos state. The federal agencies of government, like in this case, this trade fair complex, they've been approving drawings. If you ask the commissioner sitting with you, ask him when have they approved a drawing for building development in that trade fair complex. When have they done it once? They've never done it. All these approvals have been given by the Trade Fair Management Board. They approve these drawings and give leases to people who develop properties there. They don't go to Lagos state government to get drawing approvals. And I'm asking him, let him tell you, when have they given approval for one building to be constructed in that place since 1995? Over 30 years. They've never done that. So it is just yesterday that they woke up and went and brought the buildings down, claiming that there were no building approvals. The estate or the trade fair complex has existed over 30 years. And Lagos state government has not been given approvals to developments taking place there. So this is his own claim, which does not stand. It doesn't hold water. Because that land does not belong to Lagos state government.
So
we have state lands.
Right? Are you biased?
They have their planning authority.
Right. Just to be clear, are you by effect or in essence saying that they have maybe derelicted their duty? Because it's the understanding is that there is concurrent jurisdiction. Yes, it's federally owned, but it's also in a state. So there's concurrent jurisdiction, perhaps in the area of physical planning, urban development, building regulation. So are you saying that over time they have neglected their role, their functions, and now they just all of a sudden woke up to that role? Is that what you're saying?
No, they didn't. Yes, what I'm saying, they didn't have the role at all. Ab initio. So it's not about the dereliction of duty, because they clearly know that they have no jurisdiction over that land. That's why we have every state in the Federation of Nigeria, you have federal lands. They build housing estates and so on and so forth, and the state government do not go there, they don't interfere. The Federal Housing Authority has their own locations everywhere in the states of the Federation. They are charged with the responsibility of due management and administration of those federal lands. So the state government cannot go in. They don't have concurrent jurisdiction because it is clearly separated and defined. The lands that are in Lagos State that are not federal lands are vested on the governor of Lagos State. And when the lands that do not belong to Lagos State are federal lands, you don't exercise any jurisdiction over it. It's as simple as that. Because if they had that jurisdiction or role to exercise over the years, they would have been doing these things as a matter of routine and responsibility. They've never given any approval to anybody over 30 years. And this thing they're doing to these traders is because they think they can intimidate them. They cannot intimidate them. They have rights to be where they are, doing lawful businesses, and go to that place. These people have contributed so much to the development of Lagos. The same people you destroy their buildings, their businesses, are the people who are keeping the ports busy. They are the people who bring in goods from all over the world, clear them in the ports in Lagos, and you continue chasing them around. When they move their goods on the roads, you go and hold them in the roads and place all kinds of roadblocks for them, sometimes 50, before you go between one location and the other.
Right.
So you have to allow them. And like I said, the Constitution says government actions must be humane. If you want to say that there is something somebody has done that infringed the law, you give him notice. He must come.
The commissioner
give
had
notice,
said,
give warning,
right,
and call the person and tell him this is what you have done. They didn't do any of it because they have no right to do so. The place doesn't belong to them. It's a federal land.
Well,
they don't have jurisdiction over it.
Senator, the commissioner also said that they had given notice. There was mixed messaging in that sense, because the trader said they didn't get notice. He said they had gone to give notice, but some of their officials were harassed and all of that.
Kayode, let me tell you, we are all Nigerians.
I know. I'm just.
And when I come here, when I come here, I have not come here to be bullied with lies. Because the man there knows that they have never given one building approval for any development to take place in the trade fair complex.
Right.
Let him bring one drawing they have approved in the past 30 years.
Well, that's a fair point,
So
Senator.
I'm just waking up in the morning trying to intimidate people.
Right,
They
that's
cannot
a fair
do
point.
that.
All I'm doing is representing the comments he made. Perhaps you missed it. I'm just representing the comments he made right here.
I'm not seeing his face. I want to see his face.
It's on our YouTube page. You can watch that. But Senator, this is a question.
You cannot hide.
Right. This is a question.
cannot hide.
This is a question I want to ask. By the way, the interview was last week. You know, we're meant to have you, but we couldn't have you. It was last week, Friday. But here's my question. There are a lot of people who also saw the visit by the Labour Party presidential candidate, Mr. Peter Obi, yourself, and Senator Baribe as, well, could be interpreted as provocative in that sense. Why not visit the governor? Why not visit the governor, some people have said, so it can be resolved at that level? So maybe you speak to the rationale behind that. Did you try to reach the governor? Was he unreachable? And for those who are maybe interpreting this as possibly provocative, what do you say to them?
No, they should not leave the substance and begin to chase shadow. People are doing their lawful businesses, and you moved in with machines to bring their buildings down, destroy their shops with the goods in them. And it is shown. It was shown on television. Everybody saw it. We had to go there. Myself, I'm an estate surveyor, and I told you, I knew that Lagos government was acting wrongly and against the law. So when we saw it, We are the representatives of the people. Over 70% of the people in that place are our people. And you cannot go and bully them and intimidate them and abandon them. Mr. Peter Obi was one of the developers of that trade fair complex, if you don't know.
So
he has a plaza there. Over 200 shops, far back in 1995. So, and he's a patron of the place. All the associations there, he is their patron. So he cannot see that, and people call him that they are being dealt with against the provisions of the law. And you want him to start running around to start looking for governor of Lagos State. So if the land belongs to Lagos State government, yes, the place to go will be to interface with the agents of government of Lagos. But they don't own the land. The land doesn't belong to them. They acted illegally. How can you now begin to tell somebody that is acting illegally and provocatively when you are completely in breach and you know that the land does not belong to you, and you know that you have not been exercising oversight over that estate?
So why is the Federal Housing Authority,
why should you go there?
Why is the Federal Housing Authority, the voice of the Federal Housing Authority, visibly absent amongst, amid this conversation? We've heard the Lagos State government, we've heard the CEO of the trade fair complex, but the authority that you and the CEO, the entrepreneurs in trade fair are claiming to have jurisdiction, they're not speaking.
Well, maybe you have to go and ask them why they're not speaking. But trade fair complex does not belong to Federal Housing Authority. This place is under the purview of the Federal Ministry of Trade and Investment. They are the people managing the trade fair complex. The Federal Housing Authority is overseeing residential estates like Festac Town and the rest of it.
Or the Ministry of Commerce.
Or the Ministry of Commerce, So the truth is that sometimes when something happens, you begin to look much more deeply to know what is happening. I consider this action as unnecessary aggression against the people in Lagos. Demolitions are going on not only in trade fair complex. I've told you about Abulado, even though it was maturely handled by the managing director of the Federal Housing Authority because of my intervention. Demolitions are going everywhere, and Lekki, you see it every day. How can government be sleeping? People will now go and they develop magnificent buildings, and you go and destroy them because you are the authority. Even if you have the right, government says that the constitution says that government actions should be humane. Government action should be humane.
What do you say from a bigger picture now? What do you say to people who say, you cannot just go to Igbo land also to buy land, that in fact non-indigens hardly own land in Igbo land because of culture, and other related issues? What do you say to them? And that they are overstepping their bounds in Lagos and in other parts?
That is fallacy. Anybody who wants to buy land in Igbo land will have access to land. Like these ones in Lagos. People have been buying and developing from the Suenu chieftaincy family and the rest of them from 100 years ago. The Igbos are commercial people. They are all over the world. They drive commerce in West Africa, in Central Africa, beyond the shores of Nigeria, Asia, everywhere.
So, do non-indigens on a massive scale own land in Igbo land?
If you have money, want to buy land. It's an open market. If you see land to buy and you have money to pay for it, nobody can tell you, I will not sell it to you. It's a question of demand and supply. If you have money to buy land and you spot any land, many people have bought lands in Onisha, in Oka, in Enugu, those who are interested. If you are not interested, the Igbos will not carry their land and come and give you.
That must be subjected to some form of empirical study.
Yes.
Lastly,
nobody can deny you purchase of land.
We've seen your principal, Mr. Peter Obi, with former President Goodluck Jonathan, with a lot of speculations about what is exactly happening as far as that meeting is concerned ahead of 2027 presidential election. So what is the positioning of Mr. Peter Obi? Is he leaving the Labour Party? Is he registering with the ADC? What exactly is his strategy? Or is he working with former President Goodluck Jonathan? In 90 seconds, because we'll wrap up.
No, this question is not well placed. One is they are talking about Mr. Peter Obi and his political interest, what he wants to do. He saw him with Jonathan, his friend, and all that, and they want me to answer what they're discussing. One, for me, I didn't come here to discuss politics. What I came here to do is to emphasize the point that Igbos in Lagos should be left alone. They are contributing to the development of Lagos, and they've done that over the years. They're contributing to the GDP of this country. About 6.6 trillion naira was collected by the customs in this past 1 year. 6.6 trillion naira. Do you know those paying those duties? They are the Igbos.
All right.
They are the people bringing these goods from all over the world.
And paying duties. At this point.
You should allow them politics. You should allow them breathe.
I wanted you to speak to politics, or must anchor at this point.
Allow them to breathe. Allow the Igbos to breathe. Let them do their business and respect their rights. We don't want people telling people to go away. It's like one day, worried people in Abuja will order everybody in Abuja to go back to their state. Everybody will leave Abuja.
All right.
So we don't promote such thing. The Constitution forbids it.
All right.
So if you see anybody, any citizen of Nigeria, according equal respect, equal rights, equal opportunities. That is the framing of this Constitution. We both didn't write this Constitution.
All right.
And for them to say that you grant every citizen of Nigeria full resident rights in all parts of the Federation, it's because of a thing like this.
All right.
When somebody starts claiming, after you come to develop his place, he will ask you to go.
Thank you so much.
It's very uncharitable. Very uncharitable.
We must really anchor at this point. Thank you so much.
Tell that commissioner that I would like to see him.
Victor Obi, he's the senator representing Anambra Central Senatorial District and also former chairman of the All Progressives Grand Alliance. Of course, is now with the Labour Party. Thank you so much for your time on the program.
Thank you very much. And keep doing the good job you are doing here.
Yes.
Let Nigerians always know the truth.
All right.
Yes, people should act in accordance with the Constitution. Follow the Constitution and the law.
All right.
And when you cross the line, you are creating problems.
We really must go now.
You are creating problems when you cross the line.